Hello, friends, and a happy Friday to y'all. Today is our last new practice of Celtic spirituality, and I hope you've enjoyed the practice this week. Just a reminder that we encourage you to pick out your favorite practice from last week and use that one tomorrow on Saturday because we won't put up a new practice on Saturdays. So, for our last day of Celtic spiritual practice, we're going to focus on a unique image that Celtic Christianity uses to symbolize the Holy Spirit. Most of the time, we think of one particular image to symbolize the Spirit. We see it in Bible stories and passages, and we see it on regalia in the church. It's usually a certain type of bird. You know what it is? Yes, it's a dove. A dove which symbolizes peace and gentleness. And if you think about it, though, for these Celtic Christians who were keen observers of the natural world, the dove was a pretty boring bird. They don't fly particularly well. They nest on the ground. They're a bit clumsy, and they hang around people in villages in order to kind of pick up the scraps. They're scavengers. They're basically the rats of the bird world. So Celtic Christians, as again, keen observers of nature, hated the image of the dove, and instead they picked their own bird. And they picked the wild goose. Now, they chose the goose for a particular reason, because it was a much more kind of mysterious and majestic bird, right? They migrate. They're here today, gone tomorrow, here for a certain season. But the main reason that they chose the wild goose is because the Celts tried many times to tame or domesticate wild geese, but they found it impossible because of the bird's temperament and nature. So they equated this untamable and wandering and fierce qualities of the wild goose with the untamable nature of the Holy Spirit, and they love that image so much more. We in the church tend to enjoy this image of the Holy Spirit of as a dove because it's a little bit more manageable and it works within our church constructs and our institution. But this image of the wild goose is completely different and it reminds us that the Holy Spirit has a fierceness and a resiliency about it, that we serve a God who refuses to be tamed or caged or domesticated in any way by people, churches, or institutions. So today we're going to focus on this image of the wild goose. So I invite you to find a comfortable position in a chair or on the floor. Put your back straight up. Maybe find a cushion to be kind to your body. And let's begin our meditation today. Take a few minutes and allow your breathing to just slow down a little. Become present in your body and in this moment. As you breathe in and breathe out, allow your breathing to get a bit deeper. Feel your lungs as they expand and fill with air. And as they contract and push the air back out into the world. Settle into a comfortable place, inhaling and exhaling. I invite you as you breathe to just twist your upper body slightly. Twist your body to the left, just your upper body, and take 3 deep breaths as you do so. Inhaling and exhaling. You may notice a little bit of tightness as you turn. That's perfectly normal. Now come back to the center slowly. And now turn to your right, looking over your right shoulder and taking 3 deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. Finding a comfortable position as you turn. Noticing any discomfort. Now slowly turning back to the center. We remember that God's love does this. It moves us, it twists us. The energy of God's love moves us physically, and sometimes it may feel uncomfortable at first. But we can learn to breathe in the life as we move. Now I invite you, as you've settled into a comfortable breathing pace, to feel the Spirit of God surrounding you, washing over you, filling the space that you're in. And as you breathe in this same Spirit, feeling that it has become a part of you. This wild goose of God's Spirit. I invite you to reflect and listen to these words and these images of the wild goose. There is a wild goose that flies free and fierce and beckons us follow if we dare. There is a wild goose that soars through the heavens, yet nests on the trees of the earth. There is a wild goose that swims on gentle waves and floats on tranquil shores. There is a wild goose that follows its nose, not to places of plenty, but to places where love is barren. There is a wild goose that descends upon us and whispers gentle secrets and wisdom on the wind. There is a wild goose that is always moving, always acting, searching out fertile hearts and minds. There is a wild goose that refuses to be tamed, that slips through our grasp like water through an open hand. There is a wild goose that stirs and confronts us when we are complacent and comfortable. There is a wild goose that harnesses the wind on its wings and shelters its little ones from harm. There is a wild goose that tolerates no injustice, that pulls at the heart and will not let us rest while there is work to be done. There is a wild goose that roams this land and soars over, vigilant as the tides. There is a wild goose that floats through the sky as it grips our hearts, saying, "Follow me to love divine. You need to bring nothing, yet you must bring everything." There is a wild goose, and it is on the loose, now and forever. Now I invite you to take a few moments and just reflect on this image and allow the untamed and fierce Spirit of God to illumine this time. I invite you now, friends, to slowly open your eyes if you had them closed. Come back to your place and to your body. Become aware of your breathing again. And allow some peace to rest on you like a warm blanket that you get to carry with you through the rest of the day. Well done, friends. That's our last practice for the week, and this concludes our week of Celtic spirituality. Remember that this is like the tip of the iceberg. So if you're interested in more Celtic spirituality, then feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be glad to point you to some more resources out there. Keeping on the iceberg image, there's enough out there to fill the Titanic, that's for sure. Before it sank. But that's all she wrote for today. Have a great weekend, and may your journey be full and complete today and always. Shalom, my friends, and thanks for joining me this week on Centering for Lent. Peace.